I hate the phone. It's a Yetzer Hara trap.
In the video, you see the guy drop down. He hands a box to one of my shipmates. I open it up, and it's a Purim package with a miraculous Esther, with the little clappy noisemakers and homemade hamantashen. Yo, I'm on cloud 9, brother.
Come on, have you ever watched movies? Camels, they could run for hours. No food, no drink, no nothing.
A little Medrash didn't say that to me. I don't know.
I did full-time work from 9 to 6 while I was singing every single night.
Are you ever gonna have me back? I really put you on the spot here.
No, yeah, please. Yeah, this is light work.
I'm sorry.
This is like...
Any parent that allows their child to have Fortnite and play on it, the parent should admit themselves to a mental institution.
Ah, this is my guy right here. I like him. That deserves a round of applause, no? Over the years, we've had some incredible moments that you've shared, that you've replayed, that you maybe even clipped on our podcast. And in this short video, we are going to show you those moments. Yes, the most replayed, most rewatched moments from Meaningful People podcast history. Here they are. Our first moment comes from a fiery voice in the yeshiva world. That is our Rabbi Bender, who had some very strong words about one particular video game and parents giving their kids access to it. Check out what he said.
I ran a panel on a Pesach program this year, and one of the topics was around technology. And I got up to this room of parents and I said, "Does anybody here know what Twitch is?" And,
I don't.
Yeah, and they laughed at me. And I said, "Do you know what another site is?" They laughed at me. I said, "In all likelihood, your young kids are going to be on these sites. What do you think the balance is for a parent? Do they need to know everything with what's going on in this generation and understand what is trending, or do they just hands off?"
It changes all the time. Fortnite is a great game, right? Must be. I never
played it, but
I hear Fortnite is not a good game. It's not a good game
because of the communication you could possibly have.
1,000 people on there, Gentiles, people, anybody you want. There's a bad story in a very frum neighborhood where a girl made up to meet a Gentile fellow. The girl slipped and told her parents, and when he came to the house, the police picked him up. He was underage.
Wow.
Fortnite, I believe, I say this to the boys in our yeshiva. I'll tell you a great Rabbi Zevi Bald story, the executive director in our yeshiva. This is a true story. 2 years ago when Fortnite came out, I heard what it's all about, and I told them it's not a good idea. I said to the boys in the shmuz, any parent that allows their child to have Fortnite and play on it, the parent should admit themselves to a mental institution. I said it's the 400 kids in the shmuz, right? They started looking at each other, and no one complained to me because no one's going to admit they allowed the kids to have Fortnite, right? They're not going to admit to me. 3 days later, I'm sitting in my office, and Rabbi Zevi Bald comes running into you. He was turning white. He says, "Rebbe, did you say that parents who let the kids have Fortnite?" I said, "I sure did." He got white completely. Obviously, he raises the money. Comes back 3 minutes later, say this person gave another $10,000 to the yeshiva to appreciate what I'm doing. Most parents want help to get these kids off this stuff. It's easy by not showing that you're addicted. It's not easy. If you don't want your parents, what do you want your kid to look like one day? What do you want to look like? You want to look like busy all day long like you are? You don't want that. You want them to learn. You want them to do the right things. Everything was created. Chavetz Chaim once said, when they told him about the radio.
Yahrzeit tonight.
Tonight is the Yahrzeit. Chavetz Chaim once said, he said, a American thing he said that they told him about the radio. You know what's going to be one day on the radio? On this channel, they told what channels are. This shall be a shear on my cotton, and this shall be a shear on Baba Kama and Baksubis, and it'll be Busa Shmus, and it'll be wonderful. It's not good. The addiction is not good. Then you have a problem. The kids, yeah. So if you go to a yeshiva or you're involved in a community where everybody's on it, you have a problem. We push for it. We have many, many boys now in Masifta that have no shaykhs at all to any WhatsApps, any chats, any of these games. We push it very hard in a nice way. Give them a good time. They play a huge amount of ball. It's something good. The chasredas are not only Yiddishkeit-wise. They're bad because of what are you doing to your kids? Put them out there. Let them play ball.
The Yeshiva doesn't see it as a losing battle, though. Many years ago, we had this asifa against the internet.
You don't think that asifa woke people up to the dangers?
I think that the needle has moved far beyond. And I think that a lot more. I interviewed recently the people from Guard Your Eyes. I think stuff like that does a lot more for the conversation.
The Guard Your Eyes told me that 1/3 of the people they're dealing with now are female.
Yeah.
That wasn't around years ago. You're talking about a major issues. I'm talking about the family, the yeshiva, the family connection. When I see women walking up and down the street and they're busy on their phones, typing while they're pushing, you got the accidents that happen, the car accidents. So here, people drive up to yeshiva and they're busy on the phones. You're greeting your kid. Chaim, so nice to have you in the car. Chaim gets into the car, and then they're shooting there. She's busy.
Yeah.
We got to change our whole mahus of our family. You hang up the keys, you come into the house, hang up your phone. Don't bring it to the table. Why should a wife have to suffer you busy over there? It's forget it, the Yiddishkeit part. Yes, it's a problem. You got to deal with it. So it depends where you really are, what kind of community you're in, how it's like exactly. Okay, in Muncie alone, the way you live, right?
Yeah.
There's all kinds of neighborhoods in Muncie, right?
Muncie.
So it depends where you're really living.
Up next is the incredible Flynn Goldstein. Now, this particular moment of the podcast has been seen probably by 10, 15, 20 million people. It's been clipped. It's been memed. It's even had its own channel started based on its words. Here's the timeless wisdom from Flynn Goldstein.
A 3-day Yontif, you're going Yontif, Shabbos. Someone who has, more recently taken it on. What was that like for you and I guess your family observing it? Like, wow, Flynn, you haven't touched your phone in 72 hours.
I love it. I absolutely love it. Let's say the end. Towards Shabbos, you start to get a little antsy what's going on in the world. But I think it's absolutely wonderful. I hate the phone. I really hate. I think it's a wonderful marvel of human ingenuity, but it's a Yetzer Hara trap. I really believe that. So I've set limits on my phone. I've tried to turn things off. I block certain websites. Thank God. And so I'm hoping to curb the Yetzer Hara. That's my hope. But I'm sometimes the Yetzer Hara wins. Sometimes I lose time for Gemara because I'm doing who knows what.
Yeah.
But I'm trying my best to devote more time to Gemara, more time to Torah, because I know that's let's say, derech eretz.
Our next most rewatched moment is from a story that is almost hard to believe. Rabin Rahmanpour was smuggled out of Iran when he was just 13 years old, leaving his family behind, not sure if he'd ever see them again. This is how that story went.
So Thursday, we started leaving. So we had to go from Shiraz to Zahedan. It's about 850 miles. It was like a 14-hour drive. So it was me, 2 other kids in the car. They were like older, they were like 20, 21, and the driver. So
did your parents sort of sit you down and explain to you what's about to happen?
I knew I'm leaving. I was looking forward to leaving in Iran.
What was the moments? I mean, you're leaving illegally. You're being smuggled out.
Yes.
So what if you could just take us through those?
We can air this publicly, by the way, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, that would be funny. Like, no, this whole conversation's off the record. So, wow, that'll do it to me. The moments before you're leaving, right? Those leaving illegally, and there's a chance you might get caught. What is going on in your house?
It's very interesting. I think I was too little to understand what's happening, and I knew a guy who was a few years older than me that he was lost. So if you wouldn't make it, no one could ask what happened to this kid or to that family. No one knows what happened to them. So I knew there was one kid that was lost. No one knows what happened to him, whether he got caught or he died on the way, because the process of leaving was extremely dangerous. Imagine. So when we got in the car to leave, the driver noticed I had a talit katan. He saw it. He got very upset at me. God, I told your parents you can't have anything religious. Take it out. So I took it out from under my shirt. Then he goes, do you have anything in your bag? I had a little small bag, maybe 3 shirts, 3 pants, like literally small bag. Good for only, it's like for like a weekend getaway. He opened my bag and he found a kippah and siddur. He took those 3 pieces and threw it away.
Wow.
So that was like the first, like the instant I said, oh my God, like
this is real.
What did I sign up for? So for the whole week, I was very happy before I leave. My mom was making my favorite food. I was getting love, attention. I was like, I was in a good place. 13 years old. What do I know?
Your parents were staying and you were leaving.
Yes, it was. So as I was saying, imagine you go to camp.
Yeah.
You send your kids to camp for 6 weeks.
They're sending you and they don't know when they're going to see you again.
No, I didn't know I didn't know what's happening. So after getting to Zahedan, that was the closest city to the border. That night I went to sleep. I think that was the first time, and I think the last time I cried. I was crying and I said, oh my God, what did I do? I was like, really? I said, like, what did I do? I might not see my parents. I had 2 younger brothers. I had an 8-year-old and 2-year-old brothers. Like that night, it was like the hardest night for me. Most people, they start getting emotional before they leave. They cry, they hug. By me, my mom didn't cry. My father was very strong. Like literally none of that. So when we got to Zahedan, my father asked the smuggler, like, when is like the sensitive time? He says, tomorrow by sundown. Friday night, by sundown, that's when we're gonna cross the border, because we were leaving. There were bases that protecting the border, and we could see them because they had lights going around. So from Zahedan, we drove out of the city. Then he went sideways, middle of nowhere. He drove for 10 minutes. We got off the car on Friday, right on sundown. I think there were like 10 of us. There were like different people came from Tehran, and there were 3 of us from Shiraz. So they told us keep running. So I'm on 1 foot running. My ankle still hurts. So we ran for about 30 minutes, 20 minutes. We were running, and then it was like a mountain. Sit here. We sat there for a good 1 hour, and then they brought camels. They brought like 8 to 10 camels. So each camel had a driver. So we sitting behind the thing, behind the guy who was riding us, and we kept on going. So this happened, let's say, from 8 p.m. till like 3-4 in the morning.
The driver who drove you to that point, he I presume was the only adult on this mission.
Yeah, because it was me and 2 other boys, and they were older. Like one was like 17, 18, and one was like 21, 22.
And he's still with you at this point, or
So he dropped us off by that point, and then there were people waiting for us to do that running for like 30 minutes. And then he told us to wait there in that point till it gets really dark. And then they brought camels. So each of us on each camel. By the way, I think they were smuggling something else beside us. So one guy said they're smuggling TNT, another guy they're smuggling Persian rocks. Whatever it was, we were sitting our feet extremely wide, and we're going for like 7-8 hours, and they were going fast. And then at one point we heard gunshot. I don't know but we heard gunshot, and we could see the lights, the bases. We were going through them. So I kept asking the driver, how much longer? He goes, behind that mountain. An hour later, how much longer? Behind that mountain. So that mountain became 7-8 hours. So till like 3-4 in the morning.
You're on a camel.
On camel. 8 hours. And
how'd the camel do it?
Oh, they do just fine.
Oh yeah, they're fine.
They're built for that. Come on, have you ever watched movies? Camels, they could run for hours. No food, no drink, no nothing.
Little Medrash didn't say that to me. I don't know.
So like 3-4 in the morning. So we got off the camels. Obviously, we were on the other side. And then we were like resting. One of the camels threw up on someone.
Like, see? I told you, there's no way they can handle this.
So then they bring a pickup truck. 10 of us get behind the pickup. So they bring a pickup truck, and then
Sorry,
9 of us smash on.
I got caught in the camel throwing up on someone.
So 9 of us are on one side, and this poor guy is on the other side. There was nowhere to be. I mean, there was nothing there. So we drove the whole day. If you watch the movie Sahara, all you could see is desert. There was nothing. There was absolutely nothing. This truck went the whole day. They even had extra gas in the car to fill up the pickup truck. We went the whole day. Then we went to this house. It was a hut or something. And then the smuggler had a name for me. He goes, who are you here with? I said, I'm here by myself. I mean, when I was 13, I looked like 9. I was a very skinny, small little kid. I didn't look like 13 years old. So he had a nickname for me. He called me Kuchul. Kuchul in Farsi means the little one. It's a slang word for like a little child. Kuchul. So that name to this day is stuck by me, by the way. So when I say
really?
someone, oh, Kuchul, how you
Nachi,
doing?
you're the youngest in your family, no?
I am.
I could see that sticking.
Oh, really? Kuchul?
Kuchul means the little one.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. So he named me
It's got a good
Kuchul.
ring to it, especially with the laugh.
So it's better than Farchachaman. How do you say the last name again?
Rahmanpour.
Yeah, that's your
Rabin Rahmanpour. It's not so hard.
It's really
An
not.
Ashki word is Reichman.
Yeah.
It's easy.
The next clip, I went to Times Square just a couple of days after October 7th. We're going to get to it in just a second. I want to let you know that you become a Plus member right now, Meaningful Minute Plus, mmplus.org, and you will support Meaningful Minute Plus. You'll get extra content, live streams throughout the week from your favorite creators, extra episodes of Meaningful People, Stories of Hope, Notes from a Jewish Newbie, 2 Cents Podcast. So much content is waiting for you on the other side. Become a Plus member today at mmplus.org. So this next moment took place in the streets of Times Square. I went there just days after October 7th. I sat down with a sign that said, "How does it feel to be Jewish right now?" And we had many people sit down and share their thoughts, share their feelings. And that's when one young college student sat down with me and he told me that despite all the fear and all the antisemitism, why he refuses to take off his yarmulke in public. Hear what he said.
Let me ask you, after October 7th, what took place in Israel, here you are walking through Times Square, where I guess, it's pretty hostile and post October 7th, been a lot of rallies, a lot of pro Hamas terrorist type rallies, but you're wearing your kippah, you're walking around with it. Someone might think, hey, listen, you didn't really grow up religious, play it safe, don't wear it, but you're wearing it. Why are you wearing it?
That's a great question. It certainly crossed my mind. I have had moments where I've, been wearing a hat around, certainly in maybe some of the more times that I consider a little bit more volatile. But I really do think that it's important to be proud of who you are because the second that, we sort of shirk away and go back into the shadows, if you think that's going to stop anti-Semitism or, calls for our murder or, the desire of others to shut us away, we all know that that's not going to stop anything, right? We have to be proud. We have to be who we are. It's also, as a community, it's important to sort of like, we think to ourselves, you see someone else who is Jewish, whether it's like outwardly or they're Jewish. It is nice to see that person in times like this, right? In the last couple of weeks, it is nice to like, you crack a smile with someone who's speaking Hebrew, or you see someone with a kippah and you're like, hey, I'm Mr. Achai, we're in this together. You're right. It's important for us to see things like that. I mean, it made me happy to see your guy over here. You know what I mean? Like when he approached me, I was like, this is my guy right here. I like him.
It's almost like you're a sports fan.
Oh, big.
Tar Heels. Okay, so
Yes.
it's imagine going to a Duke game, right? And you're wearing your North Carolina jersey, and then you see another North Carolina fan.
There it is.
So it's like that with the Jewish people.
Yes.
We're here in Manhattan, and the reason why we came here today to do this is because there's a lot of people, and there's people even taking pictures right now, and because we as Jewish people need to be more open and out front and not be scared and not say, hey, listen, city is a dangerous place right now. Not going to go there. Not going to wear my yarmulke there. Now more than ever, we need to show that. We need to be strong and show our pride to the people who, let's say, are taking off their yarmulke and hiding their Judaism. What would you say to them?
Well, look, I mean, obviously we know that if there are situations in which it necessitates it, by all means, your life and your living as a Jew in the next 60 years or whatever it be is very important, and we want to make sure you're safe. But at the same time, not only do you get strength from being outwardly Jewish, but I'm sure there are hundreds of other people, obviously depending on where you live, who also garner strength from this. It's a caveat, so it depends on your situation, of course. But if you feel safe enough to wear it, there's no better time to be proud and Jewish than in a moment like this where it's so difficult.
I'm gonna let you go after this one, but you said you're in Yale, undergrad at Yale. We've seen a lot of coming out of academia recently about what that looks like. Does that concern you? Does it worry you? How do you approach that?
Yeah, I mean, it does. I am actually in academia myself. I'm pursuing my PhD in political science. I'm currently at NYU doing my master's. So to see it come out, especially in a department, a lot of these people are law school or political science or maybe ethics or like ethnic studies and things like that. it's definitely scary. I mean, especially seeing a lot of my peers post some truly vile content on social media and chant things that I think are just absolutely despicable. But at the same time, I do know that there are people who are going to fight for us. There are people like us. There are people who are allies who are going to fight for us within these spaces and who already have been. And I think at the end of the day, hopefully, Baruch Hashem, things work out. But at the same time, this is our chance to be proud. And even despite all the things that are happening in academia and honestly everywhere else. So yeah.
Next up, one of my favorites, Shulem Lemmer. He shares how he got this unexpected record deal with Universal and how that really changed the game for him and how he inspired people through music. This is Shulem Lemmer.
I'm sure a lot of people are familiar with the fact that you got a contract, a deal with Universal. I don't want to gloss over that because I think it's something that you've gone to a place where I think it's historically accurate to say that no one in the Haimish Jewish music industry has ever gone.
Correct.
And
Shulem's Haimish?
No, but like Jewish music.
Yeah, for sure.
To
define Haimish. I'm going to put you on the spot now.
I can't, I'm sorry.
The intersection of the Jewish music industry and the world music industry, you really charge that, you trailblaze that path. And like, how does that happen? How did that happen?
So I think continuing on the same trend, the way that we're talking about, it's not something I reached out and say, hey, can I get a record deal? I want to go the next step. I want to do something. It was complete siyata dishmaya. I got a random email from a video of like a Chad Gadya. The Chad Gadya video that I remember when it came out, I was trying to find out who posted it on YouTube because it wasn't perfect. I know how it works. The skibadaddle over there in the middle goes differently every time. I did it the same because I was still in the middle of learning it and the whole parts. I was trying to get it off YouTube. By the time 3 days were in, and still trying to get it off YouTube, it was already so viral on Facebook and everywhere. I had like collectively probably a couple 100,000 views then, before it was like, YouTube was as popular as now. And someone saw the video and I think he was in radio then, and then he became an executive at Universal and he reached out in emails. Like I'm in charge now of hiring new talent. I saw your video and I've been following your career since. I've seen the amazing things you do. I think you're an incredible singer, and would you consider and would you come for a meeting? That's literally nothing that I did.
Do you think it was spam? Did you think it was spam?
Oh, yeah,
I get a lot of emails also
spam.
that they're just like fake.
Nachi gets emails all the time from Universal.
No, like they're like...
No, I definitely thought it was...
You know what I'm talking about? Like,
yeah, spam or like a prank or something. I did.
Yeah.
The name was very... Yeah, it was a lot of... But I said, listen, I started with the nice email back. Thank you so much. I was very skeptical about it. Like, do you want to meet? Like, maybe have a conversation. And Kachava, it was a meeting in Borough Park, I remember, and it was very, very legitimate. And I was super excited, super pumped. And obviously, at that point, I'm like, this ain't happening. It's impossible. But many, many months of discussion and the right lawyers to figure out how it could work. We signed an agreement. We got a record deal, and I'm very fortunate, Baruch Hashem, and I'm very happy about it.
How has that impacted your life? I mean, I imagine besides for your business, which it could be, you'll tell me, of course, the Jewish world went crazy because like, oh my gosh, now he has a record deal. Right. Now you're going to be way more popular. But just your life in general, the way people would speak to you, talk to you, meet you, did that change? Like, did the popularity change?
I'm not sure because it's always, I guess so. It's always different. You go out on the street or you go into Bismedrish or wherever you go, and people stop you and like, oh, you look familiar. You're the, and you're like, yeah. And you wait for that moment. Like, it's either you're the Chad Gadya guy, right? Or you're the God Bless America, right? Or the record deal. Ooh, you got a record. Everyone is something else. So you don't know at which point, people started following you or people started getting to know you. And I don't look at that. I don't follow that. I think me I am who I am. I'm a person. I'm Shulem Lemmer. And then besides that, I have this career or this thing that I sing, and people start following. it doesn't define who I am, like this, who I am as a person. So then it's like, I don't, you know what I mean? I can't like follow that trajectory of when people started to know me more, or when it was more popular, or what was the thing that, I don't know, there's always different types and different communities where people learn and people follow.
I think what's interesting about those particular interactions that you're referencing is that those individuals, right, even if they are unable to articulate it themselves,
right,
what's happening in those encounters is you're bringing something out in them. So,
correct.
And then they're saying you're that guy, but really they're telling you much more about themselves when they say that. When they say, oh, you're the million dreams guy, right, this might be a guy who has some dreams that he's aspiring to something. And he says, and he sees you and he's like, wow, one of the dreams that I have is to do X, Y, and Z. And maybe I could, because I just met someone that did something like that.
Correct. So you're saying something very, very, it's amazing, because a singer is not an entertainer per se. A singer is, you know, something that expresses something from within. It's very hard to just cover a song or to sing any song if you don't truly believe it, or if you're not connected to it, or you don't have that emotional connection when you're singing it, because you're trying to convey a message, you're trying to say something, and you never know that message will resonate with someone, and they will get inspired, they will get emotional, they will get happy from it, and you're giving them that experience. And when they meet you and you see them, right, so people will come over and say how it affected them in their life or going through something. And it's an amazing feeling. You feel like you're a part of somebody's life and some part of someone's, a very integral part of their special time in their life. Also, even when you're singing at the chasana, it's a beautiful time in their life. It's a milestone that they're going to remember, and you're part of that, and you're giving them, helping them experience that emotion at that time. So they associate that with, it's not just like entertainment. Oh, I was listening to it while I was, running or jogging. It's a lot more personal. So yeah, it's true.
And our next most rewatched moment, as a Rosh Yeshiva, as a Rebbe, maybe you sometimes kick the kid out of yeshiva, but what if you have regret about that? What if you don't feel so good about that? Well, what does that sound like? Probably very vulnerable. Well, that happened in a live taping of a Meaningful People podcast at Pesach Bordeaux. This was actually one of the best experiences I had. It was amazing. Live audience. Me and Rabbi Kalish sat there talking, and this is what he had to say.
In the early years of the yeshiva, I threw out some guys out of Waterbury in the early years of yeshiva. It's been many years since that's happened. And the throwing out is a very difficult, even to say the word. I'm like shamed. I'm standing in front of a lot of friends, a lot of people, and I've apologized to some. I've apologized to the ones that I could apologize. And even the throwing out was always the understanding that if you're not being safe, if you get safe, you can come back. I think every kid understood that. Today, I don't believe a yeshiva, and again, it's not said to disparage anybody. I'm talking to me, this guy threw kids out. I don't think a yeshiva could ever throw a kid out. I don't think so. The kid's hard, figure out to get help. I don't think there's such a, I think it's arrogance. I'm embarrassed. Looking now, the guys are older. I spent a Shabbos, I made a Shabbos for alumni a couple of months ago, and a guy showed up on the Shabbos and he said, he has a wife and children. He said, you threw me out of the yeshiva. And he said, thank you, you saved my life. And I apologized probably about 10 times over Shabbos. I'm embarrassed from him. And I don't, he says, you saved my life. I don't look at it that way. He grew, and Hashem is more powerful than us all, and directed, and people can survive one human being's mistakes. But I don't look at it that way. I had no right. It was arrogance. I don't think you could look at a youngster and say, get out. I don't see how not to take. I hear the school probably has the option.
That deserves a round of applause, no? You don't think that you should throw boys out?
I don't think you can. I don't think you're allowed to. To me, it's crazy. I can't believe I did that. And I'm wrong. Anybody listening who was thrown out, this guy, Danielle Renov, was completely wrong. It's a sin. And I don't see how somebody can do it. It's been many years, Baruch Hashem, Baruch Hashem. I don't see how you could look at somebody and say, get out. I don't know what planet you live in. Who are you? And to me, if somebody's struggling, so figure it out. When you throw out a kid, I'll tell you what happens. I was called in by a Rosh Yeshiva, a very good person. And he said, I heard this Chilul Shabbos in Yeshiva. So I said, Rebbe, can I ask a question? Do you think there's a kid, and if he comes to you, you teach him Shabbos, and he comes to me, I teach him Chilul Shabbos? I said, Rebbe, the guy you threw out for Chilul Shabbos comes to us. So now I have a Chilul Shabbos, and then he becomes from. So I want to express, when you throw out a kid, what you've done is you've helped your school. Your school's more prestigious. Hashem's kids are the exact same. You haven't changed the equation at all. Your school is better. You've helped your school. Have you helped Hashem? And to me, there's an arrogance to tell a kid get out is very, very, very wild. I don't see how somebody could do that. Personally, again, either people do it. I don't think people mean bad, and I understand cheshbainis, but he's hurting other kids. A roidef, these type of svaras. I think it's easy to go those places. I think kids struggle. I think the rejection of the hard kid damages the best kid in the class. I think when we reject the struggling kid, we've literally hurt the best kid in the class. When parents have the hardest kid in the family, picture a home, if they would throw out the hardest kids, Hashem Yerachim, they've hurt the best kid in their family, because it's saying we're only accepted if you stay within this. That's ridiculous.
This next rewatch moment set off such a debate. Move to Israel, not move to Israel. Nachi, what are you doing in America? Yes, Danielle Renov came right at me with respect, and I appreciated it. But this moment of the podcast is one of the top rewatch moments. This is Danielle Renov and myself having a heated but cordial, respectful conversation about living in Israel.
Eretz Yisrael can't be a Mashiach fairy tale for people in America. It can't be, oh, we'll live there when Mashiach comes. Like, it shouldn't be like that. At least have the conversation, have discussion, make a decision. Rav Gav, I heard once said about Lashon Hara. Like, you want to speak Lashon Hara, you want to say this juicy piece of gossip about somebody, 100%. But first do this. Take a piece of paper, write down your Lashon Hara. Take a second piece of paper and write eternity. Write Olam Haba. And make a decision. I am choosing to give up this for this. And if you want to make the decision, go for it. But at least make an educated decision that that's what you're going to do. So it kind of, I'm drawing the parallel to this. It's like, if you're going to live in America, don't do it like, oh, I'm just here because, no. If you're living in America, you're living here for X, Y, and Z. It could be that for your kids, for your parents, it could be that there are specific reasons, and it could be valid reasons that you need to live in America. But if you do that research, if you do that deep dive, and you cannot come up with a valid reason why you are in America right now, then why are you giving it up, right? Why are you giving up Eretz Yisrael?
Well, I don't want to argue with that because you're about to move. So I don't want to discourage you. But I don't know if moving to Eretz Yisrael is the same thing as Lashon Hara, right? Because Lashon Hara is mamish aser.
No.
Not living in Eretz Yisrael is aser, right? Like, it's not
using the
right.
same.
Yeah. So I don't want anybody to feel like pressured in that way that like Chas Shalom we're saying like what you're doing is aser. Like neither of us are saying that, right? Like we get it. You're just saying to be mindful and think it through and think, am I just here by accident because this is where my family ended up, or am I here because I need to be here?
And it could be that, and I'm sure there are a lot of people, and I think even me, like I have to be here right now, but there might be a day, there might be a time, and it might be a time where I have that discussion and it's, wait a minute, I don't. And I think we have to encourage those conversations to people to have within themselves of like, if you need to be here, great, make the decision. You need to be here. But if you don't need to be here, then like,
need is such a strong word. I'm really curious, like, kind of want to ask you why you need to be there right now.
This is good. This is good. This is good. You know what? I don't know. It's a tough thing. It's like, need is a strong word. You're right.
Right.
And I think everyone can translate it differently. I just think like my stage of life and where I am with my family building, the kids I have, the family.
Nachi, are you ever going to have me back? I really put you on the spot here.
No, yeah, please. Yeah, this is light work.
I'm
you know,
sorry.
This is like No,
Okay.
you know what? Like I encourage vulnerability with my guests. So the least we can do is reciprocate it. And it's like, you know what? It could be that I should be there. I don't know. It could be I should. It could be that I should. And it's
start
it's
sending
something
you
that
apartments.
whoa, you know, maybe. I think that I'll tell you this. I think about it, and we talk about it, and we think about it. And I think that's a good place to start. You know,
I actually think that's a very big place to start, because I think considering that a lot of people aren't thinking about it at all, I think that's a very important place to be.
Our next moment comes from an unforgettable story when a young Jewish Coast Guard serviceman found himself 700 miles off the coast of Alaska on Purim. What happened next can only be described as miraculous.
Was there ever, I guess, any organization, Jewish organization, that did anything to reach out to what sounds like probably the only Jew in Alaska,
I think
especially in the
Aleph did
Coast
something
Guard?
pretty wild, right?
Aleph Institute. Shout out to Rabbi Eliezer. That guy is a tzaddik. Yes, it was Erev Purim, and I knew I had a package coming to me from either Kosher Troops or Aleph, but they worked side by side. Shout out to Sarah Forst. She runs Kosher Troops. It's an amazing organization. It makes sure our troops all around the world have kosher food for every Yom Tov and just in general. So it was Erev Purim. I'm getting pumped. I know they sell Manischewitz wine. I got the grocery store to sell Manischewitz wine and some Wacky Mac. And I said, I'm gonna have a Purim like you've never seen. I'm already good at drinking. That's all I do here, anyways. I'm gonna do Purim, but I'm gonna drink in the spirit of like Avodas Hashem, because it's what Hashem. It's part of the mitzvah.
You were practicing all year.
Exactly. So anyways, I was ready for this Purim. I was so pumped. And then Erev Purim in the morning, we get launched on a search and rescue. Or we had gotten told that the air station needed support on training missions. And then while we were out there on their training missions, we didn't know, but we were going to be launched to a different search and rescue mission. Anyway, so we launched the ship and we go out, and I'm so depressed. I'm like, dude, like this was the one time like I've needed this Purim. You know, I can call people. It's a Yom Tov, but I can call people and share in the simcha of the Yom Tov. And like it just got cut out from underneath me. So anyways, we launched on the ship, and we go and we do this. I texted the rabbi right away. I said, Rabbi, like I'm not gonna get my Purim package. Like, what am I gonna do? This is gonna be the worst Purim ever. And he was like, stand by. And so we're out there 700 miles offshore doing this training with this air station with these helos. By the way, that at that point I almost got dragged off the ship because they run these lines, these rescue lines, to bring the swimmers from the helicopter down to the ship, and I was in charge of holding the line. And when the helo tried to pull away, it wrapped around my leg and it dragged me across the edge of the ship, did the whole fantail of the ship, and like somebody on the deck went like this, and they had to emergency cut the line. Yeah, Hashem looked out for me there. But anyways,
wow.
We're talking air Purim right now. It's like Purim has already started.
700 miles offshore.
Yeah, Purim has already started. It's what I'm like, whatever. So everybody goes back into the ship. We're freezing cold. It's ridiculous out there. And everybody's like so pumped about having a warm meal. And I'm like, I'm depressed. Because first of all, I'm eating like cold tuna. I'm not getting a warm meal. And it wasn't until the very end of my stint in Alaska that I started bringing on pots and pans and getting kosher food shipped out and like making it, because you don't make waves as a new guy in the Coast Guard. And I was enlisted, so you definitely don't make waves as a lower ranking guy. So I just kept my quiet and I kept my Judaism and my kosher stuff to myself. And so we're inside, everybody's pumped to be inside, and everybody's like, the CO comes over the loudspeaker and was like, hey, we got a helo inbound. We need some folks out on deck to receive a package. So we're 700 miles offshore, and there's a video to prove this. So if anybody out there thinks I'm lying, I have the video to prove it.
I hope you're able to embed the video.
I think we'll be able to.
I'll send you the video.
I'm like the non-tech one. Is that something that you could do?
We'll talk to Zuckerberg
right here.
Yeah. So anyways,
we'll talk.
So there's a video to prove it. This helo comes out of the night sky, shines its spotlight down on us, It hovers over the ship. It drops a guy down. In the video, you see the guy drop down. He hands a box to one of my shipmates. The guy, you see my shipmate look at the box, turn around and go inside. We come down, right? He leaves. Everybody thinks it's like cookies, a care package from Kodiak, Alaska or something. It's addressed to me, the new guy on the ship. I've only been on the ship for a little bit. I open it up, and it's a Purim package with a miraculous Esther, with the little clappy noisemakers and homemade hamantaschen. Yo, I'm on cloud 9, brother. I'm on cloud 9. Everybody's mad. They're like, why did the new guy get? How do they even know where this guy is? Bro, they launched an entire Hilo mission. Hashem launched an entire Hilo mission by way of Eliashrin.
Aleph Institute. Launched an entire Hilo mission 700 miles offshore to hand deliver me, airdrop me, not the iPhone thing, but mamish airdrop me a miraculous Esther in a Purim package.
They
flew a helicopter 700 miles.
Well, it was closer to Kodiak. Kodiak is about 400 or 500 miles from us.
So it was better.
So it was only 200 miles. You know,
a lot better.
But either way, yes, they flew a Hilo, and that right there was one of the key moments where I said, like, Hashem is looking out for me, and He's here. That's it. Wow. Like, you can't make that stuff up, bro.
That's epic.
Yeah.
Just the resources they had to use.
Oh, dude, it was easy, a $30,000 or $40,000 drop. But yeah, you can't.
How was that authorized?
Don't ask questions. There's gonna start an investigation. Don't ask questions. All right.
Yeah, they're gonna take back your hamantaschen.
But yeah, it was so. That was one of the key moments where I was like, Hashem does love me and He's looking out for me.
If you enjoyed any part of this video, make sure to share this video with someone you know, someone you think will enjoy it. Hit the like button, leave a comment down below. If any of these videos struck a chord with you, please let us know. We create the podcast so you could have enjoyment. That is the sole purpose. Thank you for tuning into this video of our most rewatched Moments of Meaningful People podcast. I hope that we can have way more of these next year, and that will happen with your help. Like I said before, make sure to become a Plus member right now, mmplus.org. That is mmplus.org. You join the inner circle of Meaningful Minute. If you are one of our fans, if you love our content, then you're going to get so much more when you become a Plus member today. mmplus.org. Hope to see you guys again soon.